Did you guys feel nervous when you were presenting? Because I'm kind of getting nervous right now. Anyway, hi everybody. I'm Mika, and I'm from the Department of Economics here at SNU. Today I'll be presenting about international marriage in Korean society, but specifically I'll be talking about migrant men. Because throughout the class we've been discussing about migrant women, and I thought it's better talk about me since I'm a migrant. And so I'm just gonna begin with the question: what is this? What is this? Anyone? Oh yeah, that's right. International marriage wedding. This is Korean traditional wedding ceremony, and if you can see, I'm here. I'm right here. I'm here. Me, and this is my girlfriend, and this is my best friend, and this is my best friend as well. His name is Josh. He's from UK. He got married at the beginning of this year with a beautiful Korean lady here. Her name is Boram. So I was there as a witness to witness this marriage. By the way, mambo means annyeonghaseyo in my language. All right, let's get into it. All right, so these are contents that I'm going to be talking about. I will start with the introduction, and then I will explain a little bit about the background statistics of international marriage in Korea. And I'm going to jump to consequences of IM, international marriage, and then I'll go more specifically talk about migrant men versus Korean ladies, women, and I'm going to wrap up with different interviews that I had with these migrant men. All right, introduction. So the target audience of this presentation is myself. As you can see, all youth who wants to be in international relationship or marriage. So is there anybody here want to be in international relationship? Maybe, perhaps? Anyone? Yeah, I see that. That's good. Yeah, me too. So basically, for this presentation, I just target myself because that's what I've been thinking. And as I told you, I'm coming from my department is economics. But the reason why I'm taking this class because I'm kind of interested in international marriage, and I wanted to learn more to know that what am I gonna get myself into, before deciding or before doing anything. And the purpose or goal of this presentation is just to shed some light on phenomenon of Korean women marrying foreign men, because there's a lot of misunderstanding, there's a lot of negative opinions. So I just want to shed some light about that and encourage you that if you want to be in international marriage, I think you can do even right now. Yeah. All right. So it was the day of the wedding. Me and my best friend, we went there to sing for a best friend. Anyway, let's get into it. Because of time, I'm not going to talk about this statistic background of international marriage in Korea, since we've been studying this throughout the class, and a lot of presenter they've done in the last week I saw. It's pretty much the same, so I'm not going to talk about that. I'll just move to to something else. Consequences of international marriage. So, actually, there's a lot of consequences of this international marriage, especially here in Korea. But I just found out two. I'm just going to talk about two different consequences. And the first one is rise of mixed ethnicity Korean. And the research shows that in 2020, that international marriage are expected to exceed 1.67 million. That means 1 in 5 Korean will be, mixed ethnicity heritage. And the other research that I read, it shows that over half of Korean, both male and female, will be open to the idea of marrying foreign men or foreign women. But as well, more than 60% of parents will be willing to accept, their sons and daughters marrying foreigners. This is good news for us. We're looking. And the last research that I found, it shows that Korean population is expected to shrink actually from 48 million people to 40 million by 2050. And a 2000 UN report on replacement migration warned that Korean will need like 60.4 million foreign workers between 2020 and 2050 to keep its economically active population at 36.6 million. Actually, because of this, like a lot of government policies has been changed recently. For example, myself, I'm under the scholarship called KGSP, which is Korean Government Scholarship Program. And they've changed a lot of policies in this year. Like before, it was, if you've been in Korea before, you cannot really get the scholarship. And for example, if you have the scholarship for bachelor, you cannot get the scholarship, other scholarship for masters. and soon after you graduate, you have to go back right away. They don't need you in Korea. But for this year, the government policies has been changed. So it doesn't matter whether you've been to Korea or you've never been here, you can still get a scholarship. And after you graduate from your bachelor, you can still get a scholarship for masters. And as well, after you graduate, you can get 2 years of job seeking visa. So after my graduation next year, that means I'll be able to stay here for 2 more years just seeking job. If I want to work and if I want to go to masters, I can still have opportunity within a year. So I was kind of asking myself why the government is so kind to us, all of a sudden. But this is the reason. They know. Right now in Korea, the life is not really easy, and people, they don't want to marry, they don't want to have kids, they don't want to have children because it's kind of hard to take care of them. And the research shows that. Not only this research, but other research shows that the number of older people in South Korea is more than younger people. So in the coming years, we're gonna be have a danger of having a lot of Ajoshidil and Ajumadil rather than young people. And though it's not worse like Korea, I mean like Japan, but we're heading there. So as a Webogin, we are getting a lot of opportunity to come here and maybe also to to save the nation. So I'm really glad for that. And the other consequences is ethnicity community. I think you guys know when you go to Incheon, you're going to find Chinatown there. Sometimes when I go to Itaewon, I feel like I'm in Africa because I can see a lot of black people more than any other race there. And there's a lot of, like Webogin companies. There's a lot of Webogin shiktangs, restaurants. And yeah, it's just so beautiful. I mean, it looks so beautiful. It's like bibimbap, like you have all kinds of color inside. And it's like spring, you have all kinds of color, wherever you go. And it's just beautiful. All right, so I'm just going to move more specifically to migrant men versus Korean women. And this is the article. It's Korean Time magazine. The reason why I put up there, because I want you guys to search right now. Because what I'm going to talk about right now, it's not my opinion, it's not my thoughts, but I take everything from this magazine, Korean Time magazine. This article is basically talking about the reason why Korean ladies, they're going after, foreign men. The reason why. And there's a couple of reasons that this magazine is talking about. And the first one is long-term focus. So according to Korean Time magazine, says that a lot of Korean women, soon after they graduate from the university, they focus on the future. They focus about their kids, about how they're gonna live later on in the future. But unlikely, men's a little bit, they're not really after that. And in my opinion, it's not just Korean men's, but most of men's, they have short-term focus, like dating for fun. But most of Korean women, according to this magazine, says that their focus a little bit change after they graduate. They start thinking about future, about family, about having somebody forever. You know what I'm saying? And so because of that, and I would give you example. I've shown you my girlfriend in the first slide. So one day I had conversation with her, and I asked her, "Hey, why did you decide to be with me? I'm from Tanzania, and I'm not even Korean. I'm not even good at Korean, and I don't know if I'm gonna stay here forever. Why did you decide it?" I was a little bit disappointed by the answer because she didn't say that she decided to be with me because she loves me or because I'm handsome, but she told me completely different reason that, Mika, ever since you're my friend, you're always talking about future. You're talking about your family. You're talking about you're very excited to have your own family later on and how much you're gonna be taking care of your own family and kids. And then for some reason I was like, man, this man I wish to be my husband at that moment. And though we were just friends. And for me at that moment, it was, a little bit pudamsero. Like it was, you're thinking about marriage, you didn't even start dating. But anyway, so that is mindset of most of, ladies. So this is the piece of advice to men. That, and actually I've done research about this. I've asked my roommate, who is Korean, and a lot of my friends, my Korean friends, and most of them, they told me the same exact thing. No, man, I'm not thinking about marriage, just having fun right now. And so this is one of the reasons why we miss opportunities. And the second reason is mother-in-law. Somebody talked about this in the previous class that, when you decide to get married, you're not just going to deal with your family, but you're going to need to deal with your mother-in-law as well. So it's kind of these ladies are a little bit, tired of that. Mother-in-law, mother-in-law. So I just want to get over this and just go to a booking a mother-in-law. They'll be kind to me and things like that. And the last reason is children. Though, I mean, about mother-in-law, not everybody it's like that. So just few of them, as you said last time, I remember, just few of them. And the last reason that this article is talking about is children's. That this is because of the, education system in Korea. It's not really pleasing to the kids, though they're little kids, but you know, they sleep like 3 hours or to 4 hours, in a day. I'm working with Korean kids. I'm doing one part-time job. I'm working with Korean kids. So, I talk to them most of the time and I see how much they're depressed, how much they're stressed, how much they're not having fun. And this is not just to Korean kids, but as a mom, also you're having stress. So if a kid is in school like for 20 years, that is the 20 years of stress to a mom and dad as well. So it's kind of like, okay, I don't want to raise my kids here in Korea because it's such a worst. I want to go somewhere else. That's what the magazine says. But I'm gonna jump to my reasons that I think there could be reason. And the first thing is love. That most of these Korean women might just fall in love. With Wegukin Namjae, and that's possible. And the second reason that I found, it's preferences. That you might be Korean and you just love black people and you want to be with them, then that's good. And another reason is interested in learning different cultures, and I want to learn different culture, foreign languages and things like that. But another reason is visa. That I met a lot of my friends who don't really like to be here. They want to go away, and it could be the reason. And the last reason is exchange program. And most of you guys here, you're here for exchange program. I want to give you a secret that most of exchange students actually they find their lovers during the exchange program. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples right now. All right. And this is the last part. It's about interviews. So guys, you got to keep your eyes open because you're in an exchange program, but you might find your partner for life right here. And so these are a couple of questions that I had prepared and to ask my friends and people that I know. One of them is a professor of this university. He got married to a Korean woman in 1997, 5th of March, like 1 year after dating. And my friend that I show you picture, Josh, who got married at the beginning of this year. So I had prepared these questions just for myself and for people who are interested in international marriage, just to know, what are difficulties, what are things, what are challenging, and things like that, just to be more aware. And the first question was, how did you guys met? And both of them, they met their partner for life in exchange program. So now you get my point, right? Now you get my point, yeah. So both of them, the professor, he met his wife in 1996, 5th of March, and they got married 1 year later, exactly 5th of March, 1997, during the exchange program, as well as Josh. And the second question, what attracted to each other? So my best friend, he said that it's a little bit dramatic. They said that it's because they were very kind to each other during their friendship, and as well they were good-looking people. Like, Josh is motioning, and Boram, she's beautiful. They were attracted to each other. Why don't we date? And now they're married. But my professor was a little bit different. He said, back in the days in 1997, he didn't really have a job. He was just 20s, so he didn't really have money. But he met this Korean woman who she don't really care about whether he has money or he don't have. So that was one of the motivation for him to marry the lady. And about families, they were both okay. So, but about my best friend, she said that she didn't really tell her family when she began to date. But after a few years later on, her parents found out that she's dating this British man, and they were okay about that. All right, it's a good news. And did your family accept your marriage? Yes, they accepted, both of them. Say it wasn't a problem for them to accept. Friends, they didn't really care about friends. If our parents accepted our marriage, then we don't really care about friends. I'm going to jump to another question here. What did you have to adjust in your lives because of the cultural differences? So the professor told me that actually when two different races are getting together, they're actually aware of the cultural differences because they know that we're gonna need to deal with this. But when, like, maybe let's say Korean and Korean, they're getting married, they're not really aware of that because they think they're from the same background, the same culture. But he said as long as two people are getting together, you're coming from different backgrounds, you're coming from different families, you're coming from different stories, so you're gonna have to adjust some cultures there. And he said actually one of the worst thing to do is trying to change somebody in the way that you want him to be or you want her to be. So in their marriage, they didn't try to change anything about culture, but most of the time when they had misunderstanding and fighting, they just end up saying that, oh, because you're coming from different culture. That's how they end up. But one of the things that they had to adjust is personality differences. That they are completely different. So that's the thing that they're still struggling until right now, about personality, because it's who you are. And how did they overcome about that? It's because of friends and people who, like, they're above them, parents and people who got married before them. They advisors and counseling, they used to get that, and it was okay. All right, I'm gonna move to children. Oh, they don't have childrens. And do you think? Oh, all right. All right. Thank you. That's the end of my. The conclusion. Actually, okay. So. It's completely fine. So the conclusion is here. I was about to conclude here about. Do you think there's a problem in Korean society? And the other question here, what would like to say or advise people who wants to be international marriage? So my conclusion is pretty much advice, to people who wants to be in that international marriage. That and what I found is. That people, they don't really know the real meaning of multiculturalism. They think that multiculturalism is just about, to like 100% to assimilate to the certain culture. But what I found out is, just like the previous speaker said, that it's about embracing the differences that different people have. It's not necessary to change 100% to become the part of something, but I might be, black like this, and I'm here in Korean society and I got married to a Korean lady, but you just accept the difference that we have in backgrounds, wherever that you're from, and it becomes the part of society. And that's the beauty of the, of the community. And this is because recently, back in the days, I saw the interview from the television, people are blaming that these days there's a lot of Wegugin are getting married to our Korean ladies and Korean men, and we think like a few years later we are not going to have Koreans anymore. And it's kind of a wrong perception of multiculturalism, because no matter how many Wegugin are getting married to Koreans, but you're still going to have Koreans, because you're going to have black Koreans, you're going to have, Blasians, which is black, and Asians, and, things like that. So, yeah, embrace differences. Thank you.